Hello, everyone. In today's show, High Hopes. Are our expectations too high? And could that be the reason why there's so much strain on relationships? Stay tuned.
You're listening to Relationships and Chill, the podcast for singles and couples about how to find and cultivate the relationship you've always dreamed of, based on trust and honest communication. Why waste your time going through the typical dating obstacle course, only to end up with drama, jealousy, and heartbreak, when you can find the love of your life and live happily ever after? So sit back, chill, and get ready to make relationships great again.
Welcome everyone to Relationships and Chill. I am your host, Coach R. Anthony, and our aim is to make relationships great again. So I want to welcome you guys to the show. Coach Christina Lynn is in the building.
Hey!
Hey, I see you changed your name to Coach on Instagram.
Hey, I had to get right.
I said, man, she is not playing no games. She's in it to win it.
I'm in it.
For really, yo. Anyway, like I said, this is Relationships and Chill. Coach R. Anthony, Christina Lynn, and we're back with a very great topic. Do we place too much strain on relationships? I think that's a fair question. A lot of people do have so many high hopes, when getting into a relationship, or, before they get into a relationship, it starts with the expectations and what they think that a relationship would be to them. It would be like a life-altering, life-changing scenario to where everything is going to be different once you get with somebody and you're in a relationship. And it's gonna curtail all your previous woes, and all your relationships is gonna make them feel ashamed that they didn't stick with you or that it didn't work out.
That's right.
So we place a lot of expectations on the relationship, but people that are in relationships know that a lot of times in the relationship, there's a lot of, they can't figure out where it's coming from or how they got to a place in the relationship where it's all so stressful and straining. The relationship itself has too much weight on it, right. And at any moment it could break. But I'm under the impression that a lot of it comes from prior to actually being in that relationship. Now, of course, we get into relationships and we want to hold people accountable for what they say. But even prior to getting into the relationship with someone, we have these unwritten rules and regulations of how we think a relationship should be, and how this person, the man, is supposed to be like this, or the woman is supposed to be like that. Okay. And it's a real cookie cutter mentality, is what I'm saying. So I don't think that's fair, Christina Lynn.
You know what? Y'all know I'm silly. I don't mean no harm, but I refer to it because, especially for us ladies, like, y'all know, like, we can kind of have that like Snow White Cinderella thing. I call it the princess syndrome, where, I know for me, I'll say, for myself, I grew up kind of fantasizing about, my future and how great it would be once I have a mate. And, I kind of thought that that love and marriage kind of meant that I'd be swept away from any troubles or any problems I had, So I found out as an adult that was completely different. And I've had really great relationships. I really have. Like, I've been really fortunate most of my life to kind of just have really great relationships, but all my problems were still there. They never went away.
That's like the Anita Baker fairy tale song. That's one of my favorite joints right there, boy.
That was the jam.
Yeah, buddy. Anita Baker's my lady. I think Anita Baker, if I would have been born earlier, I think I would have got with her.
Ooh,
I don't know why. It's just something about her. I don't know what it is, but it's something about it. That's my expectation. That's my expectation.
Anita, I hope you're listening.
Yeah, I hope you listening, Anita. In another, I see you next lifetime. I see you next lifetime. But but yeah, I mean, we do. I mean, I know for women it's like that, but that kind of places a man in an interesting position because he can love you, but he doesn't see himself as that Prince Charming or that fairy tale person. He's just like, I'm me. Like I'm trying to present you. I'm trying to present myself to you the way that I am. You know, a man in my position. But a lot of guys don't present themselves to be what they are. So that's why the expectation part is kind of and women too. Mm-hmm. But I'm speaking as a guy, so I'm saying from a man's perspective, a lot of men don't present themselves the way that they know women expect them to be.
Right.
Meaning that if you like a lot of women and you present yourself as a man that can be with one woman, eventually it's going to come out. Mm-hmm. You know, if you present yourself as a man that takes care of his responsibilities and then you don't take care of your responsibility, it's going to come out. Like whatever you are is going to come out. But, you know, like the fairy tale mentality for both is that once I am in the relationship, I'm going to get it together. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like once I'm with the person, then I'll figure it out and I'll get it together, as opposed to like starting the process beforehand. But that's why I'm like, for me, the whole self-love thing is kind of a touchy thing because you can't learn how to love somebody by loving yourself to a certain degree, because everybody's definition of what love means to them is different.
Yeah.
Now I get it. Like you can see what love means to you, but you really are still basing it on what you've seen, you know, in different aspects of life, like television or your own personal relationships that you've had. You know, come to conclusions based on the things that you don't want to ever experience again or the things that you like. And I know a lot of people do that sexually. Like the things that they like sexually, they like, well, do it like this, and because that's been done to me before, so I like it like that. But it's like I might want to do it something different that is better.
Exactly.
But that expectation kind of drowns out that person's ability to naturally be who they are and be creative with you and unique to you.
Right. Oh, that was powerful.
I mean, I'm just thinking about it that way because I've been there too as a man, just having expectations of what a woman should do and needs to do. But I think a lot of that, like I was telling you before, Christina, like my mom, she really made sure that when I was younger, that I wouldn't have to expect things from a woman because I would be able to do those things. Meaning like I can cook for myself, I can clean up for myself, I do my own laundry, you know what I mean? I do my own dishes, I do everything around the house that I need, because when I was single, I didn't want to have a cluttered place or a place that, you know, just wasn't nice for me.
Right.
So
right.
I appreciate my mom for doing that, you know. Yeah.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Mama. You can't listen to the other podcast episodes, but this one is a good one.
This was for you, Mama.
This was for you. Hey, this was for the children.
This was for the children.
Yeah, this is for the children.
Hey.
But you know, so the problem just becomes just creating these false narratives or these false systems that we kind of want people to fit in with our expectations. Now, as that person, or you make concessions to your expectations or what you want, that's what people consider settling, right? So people will say you're settling because you're not getting exactly what you want.
Right.
But I don't think there's no way you can get exactly what you want. I really don't think there's no way you can get exactly how you want it to be. Right. I know there's close variations, but I think you're going to settle on some other things. You're going to make concessions in order to allow yourself to go in that scenario and hopefully grow into that, help that person grow into those things.
Exactly.
Does that sound about right?
It sounds absolutely right. That there, I mean, you know, you would hope, like that's the, like for me, I know I would hope that I would grow with the person that I choose, with my partner, with my spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Growth is what we all should really really try to get to as we go, and that's only, I mean, even if we're just by ourselves, we're single, we want to grow,
Mm-hmm.
so that really, it just makes a whole lot of sense. It speaks volumes.
Mm-hmm. Um, I mean, but the thing is, like, that's why the communication aspect is so important, because my growth may not coincide with your growth
Right.
or what you are wanting to obtain with this relationship. You know what I mean? Like, you may, and well, communication and change, because people do change in the sense that I could want what I want now, but in 5 years from now, I may not want what I want.
Right.
So that's kind of the dynamic, and that's why it's so much strain, because because we change. We may, okay, so say for instance, somebody starts out and they get married at 30. They're at 30, they get married, and their needs at 30 are going to change at 40, and then 50 is going to change again. So the expectations and the things that you want from that other person, if they're not changing with you, that's where people start growing apart at.
Right.
So they start,
Right.
so from 30 to 40, there's a time where two people they're with each other, like, hey, this is what we're doing, or they don't even think about. A lot of people just don't think about where we're going to. We just want to be old together.
Exactly.
But that's not really enough to keep a relationship going, because I think everybody starts off with like that. What do you think?
I definitely think so. I was actually going to ask you, when one partner changes, how does the other adjust?
Well, the communication aspect is what it really boils down to, and but what I do with my wife is, what we do is we have similar influences. So the changes that we both have are very similar. So,
Mm,
and then we communicate all day, every day. But
okay.
if she's watching something that's counterintuitive to what our relationship standard is, or she's being influenced by things that are outside of our relationship that are counterintuitive, it's going to cause a strain on our relationship, because now she wants something that I don't want for
Right.
the relationship as a whole, especially
Yeah.
if we started off in the beginning saying that we want to have a happy, healthy relationship. But we can't have a happy, healthy relationship if you're being influenced by unhealthy radio, unhealthy TV, unhealthy books, and unhealthy friends. We can't have a healthy relationship with those four things working against us on a daily basis.
So images and ideals can work against our relationships?
Absolutely. They absolutely do. But people don't really think about it like that. They just think it's just like junk food. If you eat junk food every day, you'll
Mm.
wonder why, like, dang, I'm not feeling right, or I'm not where I
I'm
want to be.
slow. I'm
Yeah,
tired. I'm lazy. I want to go back to bed. And
exactly. But your
Mhm.
body's being influenced by something that is not productively making you healthier.
Right.
So in relationships, it's the same thing. Like, those are your mental junk foods.
Mm.
So a
Okay.
relationship becomes unhealthy when you start adding things that are counterproductive through the eyes and through the ears, um, of what that relationship initially set out to accomplish. Because
Okay.
I was having some conversations, like, as I've been doing more of this, like, counseling stuff.
Mhm.
What I've been learning is people don't start off with a agenda. There is that happily ever after thing, and the
Yeah.
expectation is to be together forever.
Right.
But how are we going to
Do
be
you
together
get there?
forever? Yeah. How do we get to that
Mhm.
particular place? Like, if I wanted to go from Georgia to California, that's fine and dandy to be in California, but how am I going to get there? What routes am I going to take?
Mhm.
Am I going to fly? Am I going to take a train? Am I going to walk?
Okay.
So, like, we need to figure out, because if I want to drive and you want to fly, then we got a problem.
Right.
But if we ain't
Right.
even decided on going to California, we can't even move in that direction.
Exactly. Wow. Okay.
But I think it starts way before the relationship actually begins, when people have gone through relationship after relationship, and then they have these things that happen in a relationship. So now they're like, I won't put up with that. I won't put up with
Mm.
somebody doing this, or somebody putting up with, or somebody doing that. I won't put up with that.
That's right. And as singles, this is why we love you guys so much as our audience also. It's not just for people who are in steady relationships or who are even necessarily seeking a relationship at this time in their lives. This is for you. This is for, as you walk in your singledom, how to develop yourself as you go on, to meet your partner, so we meet you right where you are.
Yeah, it's the mentality, the prep work that you do to be in a position to even recognize the right person. Because that's a lot of the problem, is just not being able to recognize that the person that's presenting themselves to you is the right person. So
That's right.
that's why it's vitally important to listen to a podcast like this, to see what people in relationships are going through and what you have to do to make sure that you're in the right position to have the type of relationship that is long term, that is gonna live, that you're gonna live with, and you're gonna be happy with. A great relationship, you know what I mean? Not just a relationship, but if you're gonna put expectations on things, like here's why I say expectations are okay if you're placing them on things. Like, I'm sitting on a chair right now. I expect my chair to work so that I can sit in it.
That's right.
I expect this computer to work when I turn it on.
That's right.
Because that's what it's designed to do.
Exactly.
These things are designed for these things. So I can expect those things that will not change to be there. But I cannot expect a person that will continuously change to be what I expect them to be, because then I'm limiting their growth and their uniqueness.
That's right. Wow.
Now, as we get into a relationship, then the expectations can come, because now if you give me your word, you tell me that I'm going to do this, I'm going to expect you to do it, because you have now affirmed to me that this is your intention. So I can expect you to fulfill your intention.
Okay.
But I can't expect for you to fulfill an intention that's not there. That I have preconceived. A preconceived intention, a preconceived expectation is stressful.
Yeah, it is.
It really is, because it becomes the focal point of the relationship, as opposed to the person. It becomes about getting what you want or what you think you need, as opposed to the person being a unique entity that presents only what they have.
That's right.
So how can you expect something to be that has never been? To you, at least. You've never been in that relationship with that person. So you can't expect for that person that you just meet to be the end all be all.
That's right.
And to not do this and not do that, to do that. Now, when it comes to infidelity and stuff like that, if you give your word and you do opposite of that or anything, that's where the communication and the honesty part comes in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I think for me, I would be able to express that to my wife and say, listen, this is going to be a problem for me. And I want to talk to you about it, because you're my best friend. Like, who else am I going to talk to about it?
That's right.
That's my approach to it.
But see, you know what we need that so much is we need accountability. We need to self-examine. I think as humans, like we run away from the darker areas of our lives and we push them down, and we try to to make sure that those things are not seen and they're kind of hidden. And I think that's such a huge issue, with just individuals, like, period, but also like big time issues in relationships. I think the whole purpose of us coming together is to learn
and
each
grow.
other.
Right. Yeah, I agree. But that's the crazy part, is we don't even meet our own expectations most of the time.
Oh, man, that's the truth.
Yeah. So how can we really expect someone to meet the expectations that we can't even meet ourselves?
Ooh, tell them.
Yeah. So that becomes but that's what causes a lot of strain in a relationship, meaning that especially like as the relationship gets stronger and grows more, you get to know that person on a deeper level. You get to know that person, the ins and outs of how they are and how they work and all that kind of stuff. And like, okay, this is their area of weakness. Like, I know they need my assistance, but what people tend to do is, this is not what I signed up for type of thing. Like, I didn't expect for you to be like this.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, I've had moments like that.
right, exactly. But
Yeah.
part of it is the expectations that we place on ourselves, which we don't fulfill, and then giving you those expectations to believe that we can fulfill.
Mm-hmm.
And then we both end up letting ourselves down. But that's why like attracts like, because it's the expectations that we place on ourselves combined with the expectations that you place on us, or that we place on other people, is the thing that draws us to each other. Meaning that I'm not meeting my expectations. You're not meeting your expectations. Shoot, we are a perfect match.
Exactly. Wow. Oh, I hope y'all heard that.
We are a perfect match, because inside of me, I'm not doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing, and you're not doing everything you're not supposed to be doing. But now we're at odds, because now I'm telling you what I am doing, and you're telling me what you are doing. But that don't mean nothing in the grand scheme of things of what y'all need to be doing together.
That's right.
And that is working and growing with each other.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And that's one of the fundamental differences between a relationship that works through problems and a problem works through them and they're done.
That's right. Now, I know us women, we have a hard time being ugly. Like, we don't want people to see our ugly. I call it the ugly.
You call it the ugly.
Hey, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I mean, we can be ugly.
But what you mean, though? What do you mean by that?
Oh, man. Like, it could be anything. Like, all right, here's a good topic. This is what almost all my girls be lying about. How many sexual partners have you had?
I mean,
it's ugly. Sometimes it can be real ugly.
Yeah,
you know?
like we had that. We talked about one lady you said had 100 bodies, boy.
I told you, I ain't playing.
I believe you. I don't deny that, but I got to figure who this person is. I got to figure that out, because that is amazing.
She is a beautiful, beautiful woman who don't know how beautiful she is. You know,
I can't remember. Was it somebody you actually knew, or were we trying to figure out if somebody actually had 100 bodies?
Well, we trying to figure out, like, because I don't know nothing for a fact, you know.
Yeah.
What I can say is that this is what has been told. That's what I'll say.
You know the girl person? She told you, or somebody else told you?
Oh, she happily boasted.
Oh, honey. My goodness.
Happily.
I just want to make sure. I know you said that before, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. That's like a new one to me, but to each his own, I guess. I mean, because I can't say her what has happened to cause her to do that, but something caused her to do that. You ain't just born and just start doing that. You know what I mean?
That's
like
right.
Typically, I'm gonna say typically. I'm gonna preface it.
Yeah, typically.
Typically, it doesn't happen that way. So I don't know about that one, but I don't expect nothing less.
Well, I tell you, if you're boasting it, you know, you must feel good about it in some way, and I guess all you can say is whatever float your boat. Oh, yeah. But you know, it's some deep underlying issues there. You know, that's for certain. You know, but she's a beautiful, beautiful girl. Well, and I hate to see it, because I know, you know, she's got a lot to offer the world, and it's a whole lot more than just that. You know. Yeah. So yeah. But,
I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you just got to meet people where they are. You know,
that's it. You
just got to, you know, meet people where they are, whatever they got going on, whatever they've been through. You just got to start there and get to know them, that's and right. Expect to not have your expectations met.
That's right.
I guess that's the only expectation you can have, that some of your expectations, or most of them, won't be met, especially when you haven't met them yourself. Right. And you are dealing with a unique new person. You know what I mean? You're still getting to know, but if you remove them and allow that person to be who they are, they'll show you who they are, and then you can make informed decision. But I think with expectations, I think it's worse when you have expectations in terms of what you put up with.
Right.
Because now you want people to change and bend to your expectations. You want them to help. You want to help them become what you expect.
Right.
As opposed to allowing them to be who they are and not worrying about what you expect, because that's going to allow you to make a better informed decision on whether or not you should continue with this person.
Oh my, we do that. Oh my goodness. Okay, now you done hit up on something that I think I have to just quickly go over, because most women I know have had, the issue of, oh, I met this guy. Oh, he's this and this and he's this
Mm-hmm.
and this, but man, I don't like this, but I'm gonna keep on seeing him, because I know I can change him.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a issue. That is an issue. We're not here to change other people.
I
We're here
think
to
we
grow
are
with them.
though. I think
Oh,
we are.
well, I don't think, and not in that way, not in the
Right.
sense of like, oh, he's an alcoholic, and I'm here to
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 help him
to
not be an
take him to
alcoholic.
AA,
Yeah.
yeah, to AA meetings and get them together.
I
Like
mean,
you
but you
can't.
can though. You could do that. Like I think it depends on how attached you are and where you are in that scenario. Like if it's your cousin that needs help with it, I think we make a little like your favorite cousin. You know what I mean?
Right.
If it's your favorite cousin, that's like for a little while you may not, address it, but eventually, like, listen, you still, I mean, you still feel comfortable drinking like that every day. We got stuff to
Right.
do. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
but
Hmm.
that's an internal thing.
That's
I
right.
think. Because if you're alcoholic, shoot, that's gonna be the person you want to hang out with the most. But if it's like your
Yeah.
favorite cousin because you grew up with them, like y'all are similar age, and y'all just have a good conversation. Y'all just have a good, chemistry. Y'all just
Right.
really good. Y'all like more friends more so. But if it's just like one of your cousins that you cool with, but
Mhm.
that person drink and you drink, y'all just hang out and drink every weekend.
That's right.
You know what
That's
I
right.
mean? Like, ain't nothing you can really say because that is like attracting like.
Exactly. Exactly.
But that goes to show you, even when you meeting somebody, you got to figure out what about you is causing you to attract the likeness in them.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because it's something in you that drew that person to you. Whether or not you was at the club that night, you could have been at home, or whether or not you was at the bank that day, or you was at the grocery store that particular day that you met that person. There's a reason why that person was there that particular day.
Right.
And there's a reason why you were there that particular day, because your scheduling and the things that you were doing that day caused you to be there at that exact time that they were there, and that's how y'all met.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to figure out what in me is drawing a person who does this, that, and the third. The thing that I say I don't like, the thing I expect not to encounter again. But you can't get over something by running from it. You can't get over you can't get over anything, because it's like people who are usually like in abusive relationships find themselves in another abusive relationship
That's right.
because they didn't take into account. I think now I'm not no psychiatrist. This is just us talking as friends. We all friends, so just hear me out. But if it's just a matter of whether or not what you are trying to do. If you want to have the kind of relationship, excuse me, that is the ideal relationship, you can't base it on things that have previously happened. And when you expect things, you expect yourself to not experience that again. And you can identify, here's what I'm saying. You can identify it when it happens, but it's hard to identify it while it's happening. So in the beginning, when a person is, you're still getting to know them, you haven't realized what about them is the thing that you eventually want to happen again. Does that make sense?
That makes so much sense to me, because actually it reminds me of a conversation my mom and I had,
Mm-hmm.
back when I didn't have the answer for. And what she said was, um, like, I just can't understand why your dad would physically abuse me. I would never hurt anyone. I would never hurt anything. And at that time, I just thought, oh, wow, what a terrible thing, like, for my father to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's all I could think is, oh, that's just what a bad action, that is. But
About
now,
how old were
like,
you then?
learning, I was probably, I'm sure I was a teenager,
Oh, okay.
like probably 16, 17,
Gotcha.
old enough to handle that kind of information,
Okay.
and but now because of all that I've learned about laws of attraction and just so many different things, like how we can attract things to us, where I could kind of say something to her, like, something like, well, hey, mom, what was your expectations of a husband back then?
Mm.
I know that your dad was abusive to your mom,
Mm.
so, did that experience growing up influence you and your way of thinking?
Right.
Like now I could be able to say that.
You can dig
But I
more
didn't
deeper into
know
it.
at
You
that
could dig,
time.
so you can dig deeper, a little bit more deeper into why, as opposed to just what happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because this cycle is repetitive. I mean, obviously, if it comes from one mom to another,
Right. And we're not
um,
advocating abuse at all, of course.
not at all.
Not
Not
at
at
all.
all.
But what we're saying, I know, like things happen for a reason. Everything, for
Right.
every cause, there's a reaction, and for every
Mhm.
reaction, there's a cause. So, I personally like to know why things happen, as opposed to just know
Right.
what happens. If I can't control it, obviously I'm not too concerned about it. But I don't want to find myself gravitating towards something that I don't want to be. But and in order
Right.
to know not to get started in something is to know why, because it has to have a
Right.
start date. It has to have a starting period. It has to start somewhere where you can pinpoint where it begins, so that way you can, when it starts to show up, you can just cut it off. You can start to kill it at the moment.
That's it. That's
So
it.
at the
And
end of,
that's why we here.
that's exactly why we created this show,
That's right.
to help
That's right.
people, because we don't have it all figured out. We ain't got it all together, but
Mm.
where we are, I think what we do well here at Relationships Chill is we mine through different philosophies and ideas of why things could be the way they are.
That's right.
And then hopefully you guys can get something from it to say, okay, because we're going to end it soon, but what I typically see out there is people telling you what to do. Like a lot of relationship places and coaches and, different, they tell you what to do. They don't tell you why and how to do it.
That's right.
So, but why is so much more important than what to do. Like they'll tell you, just cut this person off if they're wasting your time. Do this, do that.
Right.
But what's stopping you from moving to the next person and then they doing the same thing?
Exactly.
Like, how do you know to even cut the beginning strings off to where you don't end up there 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, 20 years from now?
That's right.
And even if you do find yourself in that situation, how do you get out of it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you always have to leave?
That's right.
Can you find a way to work with that person?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you had something at one point and you had it enough to where you continue with that person. There has to be something there in order for you to say, I've been with this person 15 years. Well, around year 2, there should have been some kind of indication that year 15 was going to be like this, or even year 5. There has to be some kind of indication, because nothing just starts out of anywhere. I'm just using 2, but it could be year 10, something started to change.
And
So,
that's true.
I think it's important, but the expectation is a big aspect of it, because we don't really realize that we're doing it. And it's like I was telling my wife this earlier. I said relationships are like health in a lot of ways. Like, you don't know it's bad until it's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't see how their body starts to change and adjust, just like they don't see their relationship changing. They just see it as, okay, well, we're going through this change and we're doing this, but it's not bad until it's actually bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it starts somewhere. Something's starting to let you know that. But if we can't read the signs and understand the signs, like a headache is a symptom of something else that's going on. A leg ache or whatever it is a symptom of something internally going on.
Right.
So you got to treat and direct it at the problem, not at the leg.
That's right.
And people try to amputate the leg instead of trying to repair it and figure out what's causing my leg to need to be amputated.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, every relationship is different. Every person is different. And if you come with the expectations that this is how a relationship should be, then your expectations will be a strain on that person being unique. And that uniqueness that they're trying to exhibit is going to be the problem that you always will see. But if you allow them to be who they are and make a decision based on the evidence and the information that's presented, and that's why in the court system, they'll say that, okay, if the jury already has a preconceived idea of who they believe is guilty, they're not going. They're either going to be a hung jury or they're going to have to release the jurors that have a preconceived idea. So no outside influence. You can't watch TV. You can't read newspapers. You can't do none of that stuff because it's going to influence your opinion.
Right.
And that's what people do. They watch TV. They read all these different blogs, read all these different magazines about how a relationship should be and how you should do things and how you should feel about things. I'm not saying that. I'm saying figure out what you want, stick to that, and don't let nothing deter you from that particular thing. Now, if the evidence is stacked against you, there's something that you're doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just them. If they're constantly doing something, then the problem might not necessarily be them.
That's right. That's right. If you see repetitive patterns in your life, the same kind of people, then it's something for you to learn about yourself.
That's right.
Absolutely.
But, I think the way to do it, the best way to limit your expectations is, like I said, just look at people for how they are. Look at all the people that you actually know and see how they are, in the sense that you don't put more burden on somebody being your best friend or your cousin. Like, you don't have to, like, obviously when something happens, you like, cousins don't do that or best friends don't do that. But you don't go into it saying, if you're going to be my best friend, I just met you today, but if you're going to be my best friend, this is what my best friend has to do. You know what I mean?
I'm like, I'm not going to be your best friend.
All right. I'm like, get away from me, crazy. I don't even know you. And like, if my cousins would have came to me when I was a kid and be like, listen, this is what cousins do. Cousins do this. They play together and they do that. Like, who does that? Who does that? Who comes to a person and say, because I always thought about it like this, like, how can a person, especially women, come up to you and say, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a relationship, or are you looking to just have sex? And that's kind of a unfair question for the most part, but I get it. I get why women would do that, but at the same time, you're limiting yourself as a woman by asking a man what he's looking for, because one of two things is going to happen. He's going to tell you exactly what you want to hear, or he's going to tell you the truth and you're going to be devastated by it.
Exactly.
Or you can be like, okay, well, cool, I don't want that. But then the next guy, what's stopping the next guy from lying to you? You're going to find a liar.
Oh, yeah.
If he don't really want it, you're going to find yourself a liar. Ooh. So you got to there's nothing wrong with having a conversation or a few conversations to get to know a person and what their real intentions are. It'll be known. But if your expectations are you want a husband right now, then it's going to blind you to those intentions.
Exactly.
No matter how good they come out. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to say, Christina Lynn, this is how I'm gonna end it, I guess. We created this channel for that. We created this for that particular type of thing, to where people can start seeing how to allow themselves to be loved and to love. And expectations really do blind you to love. So live free, like live yourself the way you are, and allow people to live the way they are. The way y'all meet is what you have to identify as what you like. So you meet somebody and you guys both like watching basketball. You guys both like eating at Chinese food. You guys both like going skiing. You both like scuba diving. You both like taking vacations. Like work with those things and build from those things that are similar, that the common things.
That's right. And
allow that person to be who they are and talk to them as a friend. And it's the same thing, same process that you go through with your best friend. You get to know them and you guys become friends, and then things happen. You guys become closer friends.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
You know?
You guys don't be afraid to be you. Don't be afraid because you are unique and you are special and you are beautiful in your own right. That's
Absolutely.
every last one of you. You know, be yourselves, and there is nothing more special than someone who is authentic.
Absolutely. And that's what you want. But also allow people to be themselves. You know, and
Absolutely.
that sounded great coming from Christina Lynn to say be yourself. It felt great and it is great. But
That's right.
you cannot want that for yourself, but not want it for somebody else either.
That's right.
So, but that's today's episode, Christina Lynn.
All right,
What
you
you got
guys, you
going
can
on?
find me now. And you guys will see me on Instagram as Coach Christina Lynn, which I'm so excited about. Yay. And I love you all. Thank you guys so much for listening in. We just appreciate like all the love that we've gotten, the overwhelming response of love from every last one of you guys. And we just hope that you stick around with us. We look at you all as family and friends. We love you very much.
Absolutely, we sure do. Coach R. Anthony, you can find me on Instagram at Coach_R Anthony and at Relationships and Chill. We also are working on the website, so it should be up soon where we'll have a lot of great content, blogs, and a lot of great information that you can just sift through and gravitate towards. And of course, there's here, so make sure you like, subscribe, and give us your feedback. YouTube's, you can find us on there, Relationships and Chill TV, and Facebook, Relationships and Chill. And that's about all we got. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And peace and blessings. And check us out. Like I said, please let us know. Rate us in iTunes. If you are listening on iTunes, give us a rating. Give us a feedback. Let us know what you think so we can continue to moving on with this show. That will be your way of supporting us and letting us know we're doing a good job.
That's right.
Thank you very much. Relationships and Chill. Coach R. Anthony, Coach Christina Lynn. Peace and many blessings, y'all. We out.
We out.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to Relationships and Chill. For more information on cultivating the relationship of your dreams, please follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Relationships and Chill, or subscribe to our YouTube channel at Relationships and Chill TV. You can also visit our website at www.relationshipsandchill.com. Together, let's make relationships great again.